Doubles and coffee. There is a revolution going on in the PNM, a reformation, a political bloodletting in the PNM like never before seen. Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, narcolepsy, sativa, sleepy, disgusting, Pomsite, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy on his lap, has been rejected by the Women's League of the PNM Laventille West again. After the PNM hierarchy, the PNM who is who, tried to pressurize the people and the women of Laventille West, tried to import CPEP and URP, tried to gerrymander, tried to use all the tricks that they are accustomed using on the population in a general election with the PNM EBC. They brought that to bear against a young man, Marcel, in Laventille West, and Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, narcolepsy, sativa, sleepy, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy in his lap, wooden ladder, Hinds, get a licking again, get a rejection. The third most powerful minister in the PNM, the Minister of National Security, one who gets blue lights to drive around, the biggest budget, the one who's in charge of the most important criteria, safety and security of the population, the monster minister of Rowley, the big PNM Sawati, get a blowout a second time in the PNM from the PNM Women's League. Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, narcolepsy, sativa, sleepy, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy in his lap has been rejected by the PNM, by the heart of the PNM. You have to understand that in the history of politics in Trinidad and Tobago, 3 seats never went anywhere else, no matter what sort of coalition came up. Never mind it was NAR 33-3. Never mind it was UNC with Bastio Pandey, with Tobago NAR or ONR. Never mind if it was People's Partnership with amalgam of 5 parties. Never Port of Spain South, San Fernando East and Laventille never ever went anywhere else. And the biggest, Rowley's biggest PNM minister has been rejected by the heart and soul of the PNM. Understand what is taking place. Never before have you ever seen this. First of all, there was a vote, and Fitzgerald, Ethelbert, wooden ladder, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy in his lap, get 1 vote. They find that was, oh Lord. Well, what took place there was shocking in itself. A perfectly, beautifully staged, looked like it had an executive producer, a gaffer, a camera person, an audio person. It probably had 2 or 3 takes. It was so well done. It was so professionally done. The actress who was leading the meeting was so clinical, so pristine, explained all the rules, how many times she will call out the candidate's name, what paper had been given. It was so perfect. The camera angle was so amazing. The camera wasn't hidden. It wasn't shaking. It was pristine and perfect. It was somebody on the head table, 2 or 3 people on the head table. That camera was not hidden from sight. Everybody in the room could have seen that camera that showed us that first rejection of Hinds. The PNM tried to say it was surreptitious. The lady who was taking the vote said, well, me, I know about that. They so thing, but they can't fool me with that. And I must commend them. It was well orchestrated to show the population what is going on. But there is a bloodletting in the PNM. PNM is rejecting oppression. PNM is rejecting tyranny. PNM is rejecting the policies of Rowley. PNM from the bowels, from the grassroots, from the ground, is rejecting the rich get richer philosophy that Rowley must put and trust small pin and his father and his brother on top of them. And to the man who running small pin brother bank, that he get approval to have a bank from Rowley and the PNM, NCB merchant, you going to talk the truth about foreign exchange and so on and what will happen with Dragon Gas, and you go get fired, brother. This small pin and Rowley policy that have we in this Forex crunch. So you going to talk the truth? I'm waiting about 2 weeks before I see you have been replaced. But I digress. So the PNM Women's League rejected Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hinds, rejected his incompetence, rejected his arrogance, rejected his lack of action, rejected his claims that he is doing the best he can to keep the population safe. The PNM's Women League, for the second time, has said that Fitzgerald Talbot narcolepsy wouldn't let her ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy. You are a total, complete failure. On top of that, the insensitivity and the arrogance, the lack of care, the lack of hearing, the lack of answering the phone, the lack of helping poor people. The PNM, those who will never do anything against the PNM, they are rejecting Rowley's PNM. And don't think that a rejection of Fitzgerald Hinds is just Hinds, because Hinds is obnoxious and Hinds is a disgusting human being. No, it's a rejection of Rowley. It's a rejection of Small Pin. It's a rejection of Colm Imbert. It's a rejection of property tax. It's a rejection of inflation with lack of jobs. It's a rejection of depression. It's a rejection of lack of accountability for the people. Money with $3 billion of revenue just poof, gone. $1 billion of expenditure cannot be explained by attacking the Auditor General. It's a rejection of the terrible failing school system under the PNM. It's a rejection about the health system and the people who cannot go in the hospital and get service. The PNM is rejecting Rowley, rejecting Rowley's ministers. There is a revolution in the PNM. Why is this important? That PNM business. You, the people who are not beholden to PNM. Because believe you me, all of those who upset, sad, suffering, pain, children getting shot, dodging bullets, schools failing, fighting, children fighting in drain, home invasion, going to the bar, to the pharmacy or to the grocery and getting shot at, anything, extortion, rape, then PNM going and vote PNM. So that's their business. That's the way the PNM has operated. They will never choose anything else. They put PNM on top of country because they didn't revolt like this. There was no political bloodletting when Rowley usurped the Constitution to choose his own commissioner of police. When Rowley and the blue-haired lady and kangaroo turned the parliament into an oppressive dictatorship. When Rowley takes Small Pin and give him blue lights and put him in all positions and his brother get $5 billion in work and Small Pin and Al-Rawi get a century of recusers to enrich themselves and the family. The PNM didn't revolt against that. There wasn't a renaissance against that. But there's a renaissance and a rejection because the PNM party is more important to them than the country. So them still going and vote PNM. So don't feel like excited about that. What I am saying to you, the right-thinking citizens, is that you have to save PNM from itself. You have to save the country from PNM. You have to save PNM people from themselves because them going and automatically dip the finger for that same nonsense. Even if Rowley and Camille and Colm and Faris and Small Pin and Ethelbert Hinds reject all democracy and tell them and put whoever on top of them will still vote the PNM. But the rest of us, we have to realize across the board, from Chagaramas to Matlock, straight through the middle from Grand Bazaar down to San Fernando, across to La Brea and Point 14, Mayaro, Manzanilla, across the board. All right-thinking people who love democracy, who believe that a government must respect the people, not tax and borrow to thief, to do things to improve education and safety and roads and water. You have to realize that if the PNM rejecting the PNM from the bowels of the PNM, then all of us are correct to reject the PNM across the board. All UNC, all independent people, all people who don't normally vote, take heed, take the message from the PNM Women's League. Reject PNM like how they reject Hinds twice and they reject Rowley because it's Rowley who have Hinds there. It's Rowley who promotes Hinds. It's Rowley who espouses Hinds. It's Rowley who protects Hinds. It's Rowley who thrusts Hinds upon us. It's Rowley, Rowley and more Rowley. The PNM is rejecting Rowley. The PNM is rejecting the policies of the PNM. The rest of us, listen carefully, hear the message, and get ready to vote UNC. Every single one of you who wants to save Trinidad and Tobago from total tyrannical dictatorship. Because Trinidad and Tobago is oppressed by Rowley, more so than the PNM. The PNM now getting a little taste of the tyrannical, undemocratic, oppressive dictator that is Rowley. The PNM now start a revolt because they touch their constitution. But Rowley has been oppressing the people of Trinidad and Tobago for 9 long years. So hear the message from the PNM. The PNM is screaming at the country. The PNM is shouting at you. Vote out the PNM. Reject Rowley. Reject Smallpin. Reject Imbert. Reject Hinds. Reject Camille. Reject Faris. Reject Marvin. Reject all of them. The PNM is telling you to reject PNM. Bless.